Will is the key. Willpower. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I don't know much as you do, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody in here is more learned than I, much more of a scholar than I. But I know about coming back from seemingly unsurmountable odds. I know about coming back from when doctors tell you that you can't or that you shouldn't. Oh, you're too old. You shouldn't be. You should sit down somewhere and take it easy. So you should sit down, sir, because of your diagnosis, and don't do a damn thing. Bullshit. Hell no. Every time I go to the doctor, they tell me what I shouldn't be doing, and what I should be doing, and what I won't do, and what I can't do. And I politely go out the door and do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I'm gonna do that until they throw dirt on top of me. This is my life. And I choose to live it the way I want to live it. I won't let you decide how I live this life. I don't care how long or short it is. It's mine, motherfucker. And I'm gonna use it how I see fit. Stories of extreme will. People that came through something or circumstances that they were not supposed to go through. You just ain't supposed to be able to do it. But he did it any goddamn way. It is impossible until some crazy son of a bitch has the audacity to believe that no matter what the expert or the doctor says, I can still do that shit. And if you don't believe it, just sit your ass down over there and watch me do it.
Good morning. Or as Rich Piano would say, good fucking morning, god damn it. God rest his soul. If you guys don't know who Rich Piano is, well, what am I gonna tell you? Go Google it. Oh wow. Just waking up. Scotty, why don't you use medication? It's a very good point. Look in there. Oh, that's so good. It's a very good point. Valid point. It's not that I'm against it. I think it depends on the individual and the there's definitely a place for it. I can understand if your illness, like, or manic or depressive or whatever your issue is so bad that you can't function, then yeah, you need medication. As my psychiatrist told me, he said I'm very high functioning. Whatever the fuck that means. I did use it. it didn't have the best experience using it. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's like anything else, right? You got to find what works for you. And I just decided one day that I was looking at it logically, right? Because I would think to myself, okay, what would have happened if I wasn't diagnosed? I just kept living my life like without knowing, right? I try to think about too much about that. Because I would have just probably fine. Like I said in one video, what would happen? The only reason I questioned something was wrong was when I wasn't giving a fuck if I lost my job or not. I wasn't making so many bad decisions. So let's say I didn't go to the psychiatrist and I ended up losing my job, whether it be my fault, their fault, or maybe I left for another job, or maybe I sat down and talked to the wife and she said, listen, like obviously you're unhappy, maybe you should think about leaving, or whatever. I think once I would have left that environment, I think I would have been all right. Because I lived my life just fine for 40 years, being bipolar without knowing, right? There was some dangers. I was still a risk taker. There was still, I had the symptoms of someone being bipolar, but I think as long as I wasn't in an environment, wouldn't have been self-destructive. I just would have been the man that my family knew, continued to know. I fell in love many times. They fell in love with that man, right? So that was my thought process. Like, we don't want to lose that part of me, right? That side of me. But I did know that I needed to change a few things, right? So, yeah. Also, another reason for medication is there's a lot of uncertainty, especially what happens, because what it does is it kind of throws you into, like for me, because I was always manic. Well, there's mania, there's manic. So mania is like elevated state, and then manic is like fucking, a level above that. And the medication forces you into a state that's not up, not down, this in-between state, right? Well, I have no experience living in that state, so the perception that medication creates for me in that state is unrecognizable, so it's very uncomfortable. So unless you have a massive support system with, along your side, that's definitely not a way to go. It's definitely would be, I would say, I think it would be like ripping a Band-Aid off, maybe. I compare it to, like, it forces you into that state and you have to live in that state and get used to that state quicker. For me, it's like I take swims in it, I'm up here and I take a little swim in the non-manic perception, swim around for a while, okay, that's fucking me up, and I go back up the manic. So my process, of course, is going to be a lot longer, but I think I'll learn more about myself this way. I think medication is definitely a shortcut, but I think I've answered that question. Plus, too, like, I don't have benefits. It can be expensive medication. I know when I got out of the hospital, I went and filled my first prescription. It was over $300. Yeah, I could afford it now, but also it's a challenge. You know, probably ego's involved a little bit. You know, because you read a lot of material or see a lot online, like, no, that can't be done. There's no way you can be happy and fulfilled and leave had a successful life without medication, right? So I want to prove everyone wrong that it can be done. You know, I think even what I've done up to this point, a lot of people in the bipolar world should be impressed. Maybe impress is too big of a word, but I think I definitely should be applauded. You know. But if I was like, if my bipolar was affecting my job, like right now, you know, if I, like obviously, of course, I couldn't work full time, because what it ends up happening as a full-time employee, and you can't avoid it, is eventually you'll have to take on some sort of responsibility. And that's my issue. If I'm responsible for something, it has to be my way. If it's not my way, then it has to fucking make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then I need control, and I'll do whatever I have to get control so it does make sense. So I can't just do something because someone says do it. It needs to be the right way to do something. So there's a conflict there, right? So I think eventually, if I found the right job, you know, I could be like the average, you know, like every other Canadian fucking, you know, go to work, you know, your 5 days a week, you know, at some job. But I just have to be really anal about finding the right job, right? You know, like I'm busy like anyone else, you know, like fucking work out once or twice a day. That's 2 hours. You know, I have responsibilities from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. being on call. You know, I go to work every night for 4 to 5 hours. So my days are pretty full. My days are very, very full. But I have control of that world. If I get a call during the day to go pick up some supplies or run some errands for the guys, that task is pretty fucking cut and dry. Scott, we need this, there's here. Can you bring this here? Can you do that? Can you bring this here? We need this for the shop. Kind of hard for that to send me in a manic episode. Pretty fucking hard, you know. Sometimes an order gets fucked up, but I'm at a point where, you know, most of the stuff I deal with on that job, I can handle, right? The job I have at night, you know, right from the get-go, you know, I told them, this is where I'm at in my life, this is the deal, this is what I can handle, you know, so they said, okay, we'll try you out and this and that, and I spoke to my immediate boss, you know, he doesn't get it, but, you know, there's some freedom in, you know, in the way I act and everything, so he lets me be who I want to be, and we seem to get along fine, you know, especially because he's got some issues too, and he told me about his issues as well, you know, and I'm like, yeah, Roger, I totally see that, you know, I totally fucking see that, and it's all good, man, you know, as long as we properly communicate about how we feel, you know, no problem as long as we're honest. You know? And we can't ask for anything more than that. You know, taking medication would definitely affect those jobs, for sure. For sure. And I don't have the time to be testing medications to see if they work, you know? How long is that gonna put me down for? Will my mind be able to function? Can I feel anything? Can I feel empathy when the guy I'm working beside's having a rough day? Or am I just gonna, you know? So there's lots to consider, you know? Just because you take medication doesn't mean you don't have to be responsible for your actions, you know? And I think that's kind of a stereotype too, is, you know, well, if you're on medication, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's not your fault. But if you don't take medication, you're responsible. And, you know, I got that bullshit. Believe me, I got that bullshit. You know? And then you have to explain just everything I'm explaining to you, and it's just so fucking old, you know? Like, even with insurance companies. I remember one situation when the insurance company wouldn't fucking pay me benefits because it wasn't on prescription medication. I'm like, holy fuck, really? I can't remember what time it was on, what time it was off when I was at Costco. I think it went off 3 times. But now that I think about it too, I think eventually I would have known something was up. You know, I think if me and my ex-wife would have communicated more, we would have figured out something was wrong with me. You know, if not her, the next relationship, you know. I'm not really sure why we didn't talk about it. I don't know why. I remember us talking a lot though, but just don't remember talking about that. But I think it definitely would have came to the surface eventually, right? Oh, this is terrible. I'm on my... I worked out like 4 or 5 days, but I explained to you in my other video why I'm not working out this week, but I really like to work out today. Oh, just been sleeping so fucking good lately though. So all I want to do is sleep, and it's not a sign of depression. You know, I don't feel depressed at all. Actually, I've been like, you know, pretty up the last few days. Just sleeping really well. A little muggy, but cool. Does that make sense? It feels like damp, but cool. I should get this paperwork all updated. Oh, see where I stand. Oh. I can't wait to look back at this in 10 years. And the struggle will be forgotten. What I did won't be, but the struggle we'll all forget, like how hard it's been. course, there's moments that I'll really remember and feel, but most of it would just fade away. Which is a good thing, like we want, right? Because that's what happens when that's just normal. We want to be normal. Oh, just waiting for the switch to flip. We got gym coming up, and we gotta take a look at our routines and reassess all that. That's why I just decided just to work and not work out, even though the gym's opening up. It's in the back of my mind, but I gotta learn to just like, hey, just not worry about that right now. If we worry about that, it'll be too much. We'll deal with that sometime next week. That's not putting off your problems. That's being intelligent about how much you want to bring into your life, right? It's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. It shows that you're in control of what you're allowing in. Excuse me. Not allowing yourself to get overwhelmed. Nothing but time. It's so good. Love milk. Fuck, I never do a lot of videos the last week or two. Holy fuck. Flurry. I love the process though. You know, it's like I'm just sitting around or I'm just doing something and I get an idea and then it's just like I just do it right away. Oh, it's so funny. It just makes me laugh. I'll watch him like, fuck, he didn't plan nothing. He just fucking just did it on the fly. Especially when they're, you know, really imaginative. You know, you can see the creativity and the fearlessness of manic behavior shining through, right? Just no fear, just no, not feeling vulnerable in any way, just fucking, you know, no inhibitions, just sorting it all out there. It used to be a problem because, you know, when I wasn't manic or I'd have to go through the bipolar bridge, you know, I'd look at some of the videos and like, what the fuck were you thinking, man? Like, no, you're not posting that. So what I would end up doing is, if I ever posted a video that was really, really revealing, or I really talked about something personal, what I would do is I would follow it up with about 5 or 6 other posts, hoping it'd get buried and no one watched it, right? Weird mentality, eh? But at the same time, I'd still leave it up there. You know? Such a strange perception to have. Oh. Oh. I wonder how many other people are out there that suffer, I hate that word, suffer. People who know they are bipolar and they choose to live without medication. I know there's a lot of them that are in denial about it. Like I even heard of a few people that I know, apparently, that's what I've been told, that know and they choose not to believe it, which is very strange. I never went through that. I'm like, okay, that's what you say? All right. And, you know, go online and look at all the criteria and symptoms, and like, you can't really see it, but in time, you go through everything, and like, you can think of a million examples of what the DSM-5, that book of doctor's manual, whatever, shows you that, yeah, okay, yeah, and, you know, and then it's just, as long you have to, like, allow yourself to accept it. Once you do, then you can look back and like, holy fuck, yeah, okay, I get it. I get, see how that's connected, and that's connected, and that's connected. The one that really, well, there's a lot of them really connected. A lot of them did. And then you have the personality disorders too, which is really interesting, right? I'm not familiar with all the personality disorders, but it's two separate things, right? I think the way the woman explained it is, your personality is like the environment you live, and the mental health issues is the weather of that environment, right? Once I heard that statement, I'm like, well, personality. So I went through it and tried to figure out which personality I was. And that helped answer a lot of questions too, on why I do the things I do. And now I'm very conscious of it, right? Before I wasn't conscious. But it really helped, because it told me, it showed me, you know, why I choose certain relationships, why I act the way I act in relationships. You know, so it does help a lot. It does help help you make more efficient, more intelligent decisions about your life, right? And the tricky thing is, it's so hard to, it's hard to forget, you know. It's easy to dismiss it and put it to the side. Because, you know, in life we have so much other shit to think about. It's hard to set aside time for yourself. But the reality is, you know, I work 40 hours a week. Fucking throw some kids in there. We got time for you. You know, you just don't. There is no time. There's no time to work out for your physical health. There's no time for your mental health. There's no question that if somehow as a society we're able to put time aside, you know, for those types of things, this world would be definitely a lot different. Definitely. Definitely. You know, I watch a lot of stuff on, you know, finance, capitalism, socialism, politics and stuff. And as much as I agree with the capitalist system, I think there's definitely some social programs that need to be implemented. And I think that one of them is definitely, should be healthcare, as far as psychology and psychiatry, for people to get help. because that shit's not fucking cheap. You can't just afford that. And there's definitely a shortage of that. Like, now here in Ottawa, after my psychiatrist retired, you can't even get diagnosed. So I don't know what people do here in Ottawa now. I have no idea. Because you can't even get in to see a psychiatrist, because the psychiatrists, from what I understand, work at the psychiatric hospital, and I once tried to make an appointment to get in there, and they said the waiting list was like fucking 12 months, 12 months, and then I never ended up getting a call back anyways. So unless you're actually checked into that hospital, I don't think it's possible to see someone. And although a psychologist could help you with your mental health, I don't believe that they can diagnose you and prescribe you anything. I'm not sure on that process, but the psychologists that are available, so unfortunately it falls upon us, right? And even finding the right doctor is like finding the right mechanic. It's like finding the right woman in your life. It's like, it's like winning the lottery. Finding the right doctor too, right? That you mesh with. I had not a lot of luck with that. Not a lot of luck with that at all. 30 minutes, okay, that's enough chit chat. Let me get my day started here. Can I see you guys again? Take care of yourself, take care of each other. Chrome bless you all. This episode is brought to you by Psych Store, guaranteed to make you big as fuck! And special thanks to Working Hands. It's the shit!